Hello and welcome to the Redmen TV. It's daily news time. Once again, looking at all of Liverpool's transfer rumours, any updates, which there will be, of course, for Fekir, of course, because that's the way the summer is here at the Redmen TV. Little shout out first and foremost for the European Cup run video we put out this morning. If you've not watched that, you really should. We had Ricky Tomlinson in the studio yesterday with Liverpool legend Alan Kennedy, obviously scorer of the last goal in one of the games of the European Cup final and last penalty in 1984 as well. And we had Gary Skyner, a Liverpool comedian. Absolutely hilarious video, one of the most nuts videos we've ever done. But you're here for Liverpool news, so let's get stuck into it. Broke last night. Sadio Mane was supposed to have agreed a deal with Real Madrid before the Champions League final, and it was supposed to have been done with Zinedine Zidane, was still the manager. So we're at the Express now. Madrid face missing out on Sadio Mane, with Liverpool making a big transfer decision according to reports. Real Madrid reportedly agreed to sign Liverpool star Mane prior to Zizou's sudden exit last week. However, the Frenchman's shock decision to walk away means the Senegal international may now stay at Anfield, and the Liverpool Echo say Liverpool will now refuse to sell the wing wizard. I can't imagine that Liverpool said we're going to not sell the wing wizard. I'm just going to go out there and say Liverpool did not come out with a statement and say we're not going to sell the wing wizard. But anyway, initial reports yesterday suggested Madrid could strike a deal depending on who comes in, but the Echo say there's no chance of that. Actually, it's Dave Maddock from the Mirror, so we're going over to his tweet now. And again, I've got him on the show later in the week, so do check out the podcast on the redmentv.com. One word from Liverpool to describe suggestions: Sadio Mane is off to Real Madrid. Nonsense. That was it. He has 3 years left on his contract, and there's not a single circumstance where he will be allowed to leave. So it looks like Sadio Mane is not going anywhere. He will not be going to Real Madrid. Thank goodness. That would have been a dagger in the heart, wouldn't it? Imagine if they'd signed Sadio Mane after beating us in the Champions League final. I mean, seriously, Liverpool will not sell Sadio Mane this summer. Sadio Mane is enjoying his football. He's playing with Mo Salah, he's playing with Roberto Firmino, and these guys are enjoying themselves. These guys are the most lethal front three potentially in world football right now, or arguably, in world football right now, and they look like they're enjoying themselves. Sadio Mane's had the best season of his career, Mo Salah's had the best season of his career, and Roberto Firmino's had the best season of his career. Why would they give that up? Liverpool will not sell Sadio Mane. Liverpool will not sell Sadio Mane to Real Madrid. If we do, that's going to come back to haunt me. But anyway, update from Get French Football and L'Equipe. Liverpool talks for Nabil Fekir progressing slowly with Lyon. L'Equipe report today that talks with Liverpool for Nabil Fekir are progressing slowly, but that no agreement is close to being reached. Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid are also monitoring the situation. So there you go. That's essentially a tweet on a website. Probably less than 160 characters or whatever it is. It is what it is. We'll talk about Nabil Fekir every single day until he either signs or we categorically know that he's not going to sign, because it looks like at the moment there will be updates. There'll be updates, I'd imagine, every day until the World Cup starts on, is it the 10th of June, something like that? I can't remember. There will be updates, there'll be plenty of updates, there'll be ups, there'll be downs, but we'll be here to hold your hands and give you a digital cuddle all the way through it. So we'll move on from that one. We're going to talk a little bit about the Lloris Karius stuff, and I mentioned yesterday we're going to do a debate show on Thursday, so do check that one out. It's going to be live as well, and we're going to get your comments on the Lloris Karius situation. But the breaking news yesterday was that Lloris Karius had a concussion. Now, we covered it in depth and detail on today's podcast. That will be up later on YouTube, and it'll be also in all your podcast clients and all that. So I won't delve into it too much today, because I would like you to watch that and listen to that. Really great show with me and Tom, and some belter questions from you guys. But FIFPro have come out and said our complete solidarity is with Liverpool goalkeeper Lloris Karius. We are working on an educational video to help footballers recognise and report when a teammate or opponent suffers a concussion. This will be shown in dressing rooms around the world next season by our member unions, which is great, to be honest, because look, football is quite far behind in concussion protocols and stuff like that. Again, I'll talk about it on the podcast later today, where we discuss the NFL and what their concussion protocols are. Obviously, we've got a YouTube channel, Cover 2 TV, discussing all the NFL stuff, so I'll leave that for there. We've talked about that in depth and detail over the last year or so. But It is important, you know, football is ultimately a game, and it's now a professional game with professional athletes, but you've got to look after those athletes. And, you know, whether you think Luis Carrier should have saved those shots or shouldn't have made those mistakes, and we all think he shouldn't have, concussion does change that. And I'd like to know your thoughts in the comment section, whether you are likely to give Luis Carrier some time to prove himself as Liverpool's #1 next season, or whether you still think, actually, you know what, we need an upgrade at goalkeeper position, keep those coming in. But I think it's a great move by FIFPro. I think it's too late. I think this type of stuff should be proactive, not reactive. Unfortunately, we are in the reactive stage. It's happened, but it's a good sign nonetheless that these guys are going to be showing videos to footballers around the world, because it needs to happen. Safety of footballers and safety of fans is paramount in this game. Alisson next. Okay, so it looks like Chelsea have made a £60 million bid for Alisson of Roma. Obviously, Liverpool interested in Alisson and Oblak. I think everybody knows that now. Two of the keepers rumoured to be on the radar and looking to probably take Luis Carriers' #1 spot. This is actually from Pagine Romanest and a journalist called Maresco. These are decisive days for the future of Alisson Becker. The Brazilian, without a doubt, the best of Rome in the season just ended, and attracted the attention of major European clubs. So Abramovich has offered this Rome €60 million, guaranteeing to Alisson a salary of £4.5 million per season. The intermediary who is managing the operation will fly tomorrow in London to meet Marina Granovskaya, plenipotentiary of the English club. Now, I had that highlighted because I actually checked what that word meant, and plenipotentiary basically means a person who has the independent power to make decisions on their own. So they don't need Abramovich there. The Chelsea representative can make a decision on contracts, on fees and all that type of stuff with Alisson. So it looks like they're going big and going hard in at Alisson, which means that Courtois could be on the move as well. I mean, if Alisson is holding out for a move to Real Madrid, then he might not go to Chelsea, but it looks like Thibaut Courtois could go out. Does that mean then Oblak's going out? Is this the goalkeeper merry-go-round that we spoke about last week starting to rear its ugly head? It very well could be. Monchi probably will reject this first proposal. That's the Roma chief exec or sporting director, whatever. The idea of the club is to wait until the end of the World Cup, which Alisson will play as protagonist with the shirt of Brazil, before accepting offers, with the hope of being able to hold back at least another year. So Roma want the keeper for another year, but there are rumours that they've started to look and cast their eye over a few goalkeepers around Europe as well, so they'll have something to say, especially for a club the size of Roma, who managed to get to the semi-final of the Champions League last season. I laugh, but we literally just got one round further and then got knocked out, but anyway, it's good to laugh. Okay, so Liverpool preparing world record bid for Jan Oblak now. This is according to, well, this is Read Liverpool, but it was reported by TalkSport. Slovenian shot stopper has plied his trade in the Spanish capital since 2014, 87 release clause built into his contract. I really hope that we go and spend a lot of money on a goalkeeper. I really do. Jan Oblak, man, love him to bits. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section. We've spoken about Oblak a few times. Actual new transfer news that's old as well. This was actually reported on the 2nd of June, but seems to be in everybody's sort of vision over the last sort of 24 hours because of the mad play that Besiktas fans have made for Daniel Sturridge. But apparently Sturridge has twice met with Besiktas president ahead of a possible summer move, according to reports that came out on Saturday. Yeah, Read Liverpool saying future at Liverpool looks ominous for some time now, with the striker never fitting on the Jurgen Klopp. He's 28. According to Photomac, the Englishman has twice spoken to the president, Ahmet Nurkebi, with regards to a move to Turkey. Hassan Eken, a representative of Sturridge agency, also had a fuel to the fire, saying if the fans want him conditioned to care and Sturridge could play in Turkey, the fans certainly do want him. Just type in Besiktas fans Daniel Sturridge and you'll know what I mean. Yeah, they want him. This is a mad one for me in that he could go and do well there. Of course he could. He's a good footballer, and I think if he plays in a two up top, I think he'd go and do well anywhere, to be honest with you. I think he's got the skill set. It's just about whether his body will hold up for him. And unfortunately, over the last few years, it's really let him down. You know, you're talking about a top draw player of the calibre of the lads that we've got up front. You know, as good on his day as Bobby Firmino, as good on his day even sometimes as Mo Salah. I think, you know, he's not quite hit the height of goal-scoring seasons, but he is a phenomenal footballer. And it's just unfortunate that his body hasn't let him sort of hit the heights that his skill set says he could almost hit. But one of the things that surprised me about this transfer more than anything is that he went to West Brom because it was close to home. You know what I mean? It was close to Birmingham, and that's where his family are from, and he's a bit of a home by all accounts. Going to Besiktas is a little bit nuts, isn't it? It's like when, who's the lad who went to Man United? Oh, come on, what's his name, Tom? Man United forward, Argentine, mates with Mascherano, they were at West Ham together. Carlos Tevez, bloody hell. It's like when Carlos Tevez was playing for a move back home and then ended up just slightly closer by like 50 miles or something like that. Was it Man City he ended up at after Man United? I can't remember. I couldn't even remember the lad's name. Do you know what I mean? But there we go. And final story of the day, Dom Solanke. Listen to this one for a headline. Solanke intrigued by Gerrard's Rangers role and Ibrox links. So let's break this headline in two, because it's two completely different headlines. I think if you put a full stop in there, or some kind of a punctuation or something, or just make it a bit more obvious, Solanke's intrigued by Gerrard's Rangers role. That is one statement. And then Ibrox links makes it really sort of muddies the waters, because basically what the article is saying is Dom Solanke is happy Gerrard has got the Rangers manager's job and is intrigued to see how well the Liverpool legend will do in the role. So he's intrigued to see how well Gerrard does, not intrigued by the links, which is how the headline sort of portrayed it a little bit. That's that, to be honest with you. So Tom, we're going to go to some comments, mate. Let's go.
So, this is about the Mane to Real stuff. Connor Agnew says, I don't believe it, but if Bale was coming the other way, I'd be satisfied.
I can understand your position. I disagree with it. Satisfied, maybe. Happy, no. Sadio Mane's younger. His body's better. He maybe isn't quite at the level of Gareth Bale, but he can get there. Gareth Bale's had injury problems, and for me, signing a player like that is good, but not a direct replacement for Sadio Mane. I think, you know, what would happen to that front three? Would Bale go out to the left-hand side? Is he as good from the left as he is from the right? Where would it shift Mo Salah? Is he as good? So there are question marks there. Can Bale come inside and play that little number 10 role like Sadio Mane's done it? Question marks over that as well. He's a phenomenal footballer. He's a fantastic footballer, Gareth Bale. But again, his injury problems do worry me, and I'd rather have Sadio Mane. I really, really would. And, you know, Bale's, how old is he now? He's 28, 29, something like that. I think off the top of my head, he's maybe 28. Another settling in period back in the Premier League.
Someone just said he's 30. I don't think he's
that
30.
Old? Let's have a little look.
Yeah.
28. Trust myself.
Someone was lying.
I should have trusted myself. Listen, he's amazing. Hiya, Mohammed. Thanks for the shout-outs. Okay, next one.
So on Fekir, Kieran Adden says, I'd rather have Ox in my starting 11 over Fekir.
I've seen Ox play a lot more than Fekir. I would probably rather have Ox play over Fekir as well. But that's because it's sort of better the devil you know, I suppose, if that's the right way of saying it. I know what Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain can do for this side. I know what he can do with regards to link-up play with Mane, Firmino and all that, and Salah. I do believe that Fekir could do that as well. The interesting thing for me on this is more that what player are we getting back? You know, an ACL injury is a big, serious injury. We've seen players come back from it, of course we have, but we've also seen players not being able to come back at quite the same level, haven't we? So there is going to be a concern over the long-term fitness and health of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. So it makes perfect sense for me to find somebody like Fekir who can not only back up your wing play if you need to, your Mane, your Salah role, or potentially Firmino if needed, but also one of those sort of advanced midfielder roles and maybe that number 10. And that way, you know, if you sign somebody like a Fekir, if Ox does come back at the level that he was playing at towards the end of last season when he got his injury, then you can shift him out wide, you can shift Fekir somewhere else, you could maybe change formation to a 4-2-3-1, something like that. So you'd have options with a Fekir. But for me, the way that Ox fit into this squad last season. He was one of my favourite players. I was really excited to see him come into the club. I love the effortless personality that he's able to show. I love the ability that he's got on the football field. I love the fact that he seems to be a great squad player, and I love the fact that he put his arm around Phil Coutinho in that interview. Was it back in December or something like that? I think he's got captain written all over him, although I don't think he'll ever be a Liverpool captain, but somebody like that in and around the squad is great, and he's got the ability to back it up, so that's boss. So there we go. Next one, mate.
This is on the Karius stuff. Paddy Walker says, can't help but think that the Karius concussion story might just be PR.
I don't think doctors would lie, if I'm honest. I mean, these are two certified doctors over in America who are nothing to do with the football club, who have no vested interest in lying. If there was no concussion found, we would never have heard of him visiting. I just don't think professionals would do that, so I don't think it is PR. I think there is a PR spin to the results, certainly. I think that's obvious. I think, we might... If Luis Karius has that and has concussion and the doctors don't put a statement out on it and Karius doesn't push that statement out, then people think of Karius how they thought of him last week. So there is certainly a PR spin to it, but I don't think the spin is in any way malicious. I don't think it was in any way aimed to change people's viewpoints on his performance itself. I think it was just that, listen, this is what happened, cut him some slack, and I'm totally fine with that, to be perfectly honest with you. Tej Pettersson, do we need a new goalkeeper? Karius has a concussion after all. Hopefully the concussion will be over by the start of next season. So we're going to cover that in depth and detail on Thursday, we really are. Chris, what do you think about a possible £74 million bid for Varane? I've heard rumours, but nothing really true. Evan Cleary. I've not heard anything about this. I'd be really surprised and shocked and awed, probably a little bit. I tell you what, I've got someone with me who absolutely loves Rafa Varane, though. Tom, you love him, don't you?
If we get Rafael Varane, we win the league.
Oh, early shout from Dutton to win the
genuinely.
league.
He's better than Van Dijk. That's how good he is, and he's younger. So good. We're not getting him, though.
There you go. Don't believe the hype. As much as he's done for Liverpool, I'd love to have Ramos at Anfield. No way, no. Jack Roberts. No way.
Peter Tuckwell. Why would Alisson go and play Europa League football? If he goes, it's down to money, and if he's greedy or not.
This is true. This is true. Very, very true. And I'd rather want players who want to play for Liverpool, and if he wants to go and play for the money, sound, let him go and play for that club down there and get his bagfuls of money, the good-looking, very skilled goalkeeper prick. But if he comes to Liverpool Football Club, he's coming into a great side, and he'll have a fight on his hands for the number 1 jersey, I'm sure. Here's one from Marco. Chris, would you be satisfied if Lovren stayed number 1 with Virgil? Cheers. Satisfied? Yes. I would be, actually. I've been really, really impressed with Dejan Lovren since Virgil van Dijk came in. I think he's got all the skills you need. Can he stop those brain farts? Do we judge Liverpool players too harshly because we watch every move that they make? Probably. I think that's pretty obvious. I think, I think about Vincent Kompany. I think, he's been probably one of the best centre-halves in the Premier League over the last 10 years now. He makes loads of howlers. But you don't notice them because we're not fans of Manchester City. We don't watch every pass and every touch of every single game. It's impossible for us to do it, isn't it? So we judge him in a different light to how we judge our own. Has he made as many as Lovren in a shorter space of time? Probably not. Probably not. And that's why he probably is the standout centre-half of the last 10 years in the Prem. But do we judge players harshly? Yes. Would I be satisfied with Lovren at centre-back? Yes. Do I want Liverpool to sign a better centre-half? Yes, because I always want Liverpool to sign a better centre-half. I always want us to sign better players. Of course I do. If you told me there was 2 better centre-halves than Van Dijk and Lovren, I'd want both of them. It's that simple, because I want Liverpool to be the best football club in the world. So there we go. One more, let's go.
Cool. So this is on the Sturridge stuff. Connor Behrman says, honestly, I think we should offload Sturridge. Yes, he has all the quality in the world, but we'll not see much of it now. Just take the extra 15 to 20 mil for him and let him go, but I'll miss him.
Yeah, I do think he was great around the squad. I thought he was great for other players in the squad. I think he's a fantastic footballer, as I mentioned earlier on. I just think his body's let him down. I think this squad's moved on. I think this team's moved on. I don't think he's ever really fit in since Jurgen Klopp came into the football club. He'll be sorely missed, but it's time. It is ultimately time, and we need to honour him as well. You know, he's been a good servant for Liverpool. He's never whinged, he's never moaned, he's just got on with his job, even with all the rumblings around this position and his place on the bench and his injury problems and all that. So I'd wish him well, I really would, and it'd be genuine as well. But now, Sturridge, Liverpool, they just don't fit. They fit in 13-14 and they've not really fit since then, unfortunately. So thank you very much if you do go, Daniel Sturridge. If you stay, you'll be welcome back into the fold as well, but you won't be getting a first team place, I doubt. So there we go. Thank you so much for joining me on the Daily News Show once again. We'll be back with the podcast later on today, which we recorded earlier on today. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the Redmen TV on YouTube, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another episode of Daily News Liverpool Live.